Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Haravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Aryati Tarasivara Dhagavari Sagugayil Arivai Paramatuman Arunachala Ramanan Parival Muruganala Paranarndidu Guhayarnd Arivam Vizhitiravai Nisamarivai Adu Veliyam Annamalai Adiyenai Anda Andre Aviyudal Kondayanakor Kurayundo Kurayum Gunamum Niyallal Yenne Nivatrai Yennuire Yennam Yeduvo Adu Seivai Kanne Undan Kazhalinayil Kadar Perukke Taruvaye Kanne Undan Kazhalinayil Kadar Perukke Taruvaye. Om Atimadhura Chapahastam Aparimitam Modabhana Saubhagyam Arunam Atishaya Karunam Abhinava Kulasundharim Bande Om Aim Hrim Shrim Shri Arunachalam. Good evening to all. Hari Om Namaskaram. I am very glad that all of you have come to listen to a very important subject matter. That is about I, one's own self. Who am I? So you all would have heard about Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi, I suppose. Great saint who lived in Arunachala. You all would have heard, I suppose. He was not a very traditional saint. He was a very out of the blue, let us say. See, when he was 15, 16 years old, he was staying in Madurai, another holy town in South India, near a temple, Meenakshi temple, in his uncle's house. There, at the age of, I suppose, 16 or towards the end of 16, one night he got a fear of death. The young boy got this fear that he's going to die. Then he started thinking, what is death? Death means what? Meaning this body dropping down, is that death? What is death? What will happen after death? He wanted to experiment and find out for himself what is death. This is the most beautiful thing about Bhagavan Sri Ramana when he was a young lad. So he contemplated upon himself, he thought, okay, if this body drops dead, I'm gone. I'm dead and gone. So he was trying to imagine as if his body has frozen and he's dead. You know, this is called as bhavana in Sanskrit. So bhavana means what? Intensely, you are sort of trying to think about it, or as if you are acting like that. It's called as bhavana. So when he was intensely in that state, you know what happened? He lost his body consciousness. He could not feel his body. But still, he was feeling, I am there. Then what is the meaning? What is the meaning of death? Even after the body is gone, still I am there. Then who am I? Then he thought to himself, maybe the thoughts are, coming and going. That's why I'm alive. So he was just watching all the thoughts to subside. Do you know what happened? Everything gone, all the thoughts also subsided. But still he was feeling his presence. I am. So that was the breakthrough. Even beyond the body and mind, I am. So we all think I am because I am functioning through this body. I am this personality. I am because I'm able to think, feel. So I'm an emotional personality or I'm an intellectual personality. So this is what we know about ourselves. But that young fellow, he discovered that even beyond the body and mind, there is existence. I am. This was the breakthrough. Something happened. And it is called as enlightenment. He got enlightened. The sense, my existence is not dependent on this body or mind. I am beyond. From that time onwards, he had gone into a sort of a different state, different dimension. And he himself, Bhagavan himself, writes later that he was not slipping away from that state. Always he was there in that state, living in that state. And then he left his hometown, that is the Madurai he left, and then he came to Arunachala. There is a beautiful story. I don't want to narrate all the story because we are very interested in studying the text. Then he came to Arunachala, and there he remained there in intense tapas and mostly in silence. In the cave first, in the Virupaksha cave and all. And then he came down, all those stories. The thing is, he was always abiding in that state, in his own true self. And he was always blissful. For you and I to remain in a state of not having thoughts is very, very difficult. For him to have a thought is very difficult, it seems. Because he was always immersed in that silence. And he was remaining there. So when he was in that cave, Virupakshi cave in Tiruvannamalai, in Arunachala, a devotee approached him, an elderly devotee, Shivaprakasham Pillai. He approached him and he asked few questions. He was, Shivaprakasham Pillai himself, he was a graduate in philosophy, an elderly person. He came to Bhagavan. He was a very young lad at the time, 17 years old. So he approached him and he asked few questions. At the time, Bhagavan was in total mauna, complete silence. So he only wrote answers, it seems. He was not even telling out. He wrote, it seems. That was compiled and published as this beautiful book, Who Am I? It's a Ramanashram publication, Who Am I? Initially, it was in Tamil only. Later, it was translated to English. The original is in Tamil, Naan Yar, Who Am I? So at the age of 17, he gave out this. And it was a final Upadesha, like. Meaning, he never went back from whatever he has said. So there are some 28 questions. Initially, it was only 13. Later, they sort of segregated. And 28 questions. And Sivaprakasam Pillai compiled that, and it is available for us. So this gives the essence of his Upadesha, his philosophy, his teachings. Who am I? See, we all know about everything else in the world. Is that not so? But when it comes to us, who am I? We know about us. It's not that we do not know about ourselves. Why? What's happening?
Feeling the volume, I think, at the back.
You're not able to hear? Little bit you want to raise, then echo comes. Okay, are you able to hear? But it's too loud, I suppose. Hari Om. So we all know about everything else. How much of echo is it, right? Is it echoing?
Yes.
Yeah. Better reduce it. I will increase my volume. Hari Om. Yeah, turn the speaker that side. Hari Om. Is it okay now? Yeah. But still there is small echo. Yes. Okay. If it is not okay, please let us know. Okay. So we all know about ourselves, but not truly who we are actually. We know ourselves with reference only to this body mind, this personality. Is it not so? If somebody asks me about myself, I introduce myself as what? I am Ramana Swaroopananda. I am a man. I'm an Indian. Or I'm a Hindu. Or I'm a Swami. Is it not so? So if you closely analyze, I'm only talking about this body. The Ramana Swaroopananda is name given to this body. And I am talking about my personality. See, I am a Hindu or I am a Swami, Acharya, all with reference to this personality only. But beyond this personality, our existence is, which is absolute. So we do not know about that. In that existence, everything is included. Nothing is excluded. That is the glory of our existence. Now, if I say I am Swami Ramana Swaroopananda, I am a man, then I am not a woman. If I say I am a human being, I am not an animal. Is that not so? If I am say I am a Swami, then I am not a householder. So in our personality now, since we have an idea about our body mind, we exclude everything else other than this. But in our pure existence, nothing is excluded. Everything is included. Whatever comes into the consciousness, everything is me. Everything is my own self. So this vision of oneness, this is the most beautiful thing about our existence. We are not separate. And we are not other to one another. We are one. This is the most beautiful aspect of our existence. So this is what Bhagavan is going to explain in this text. The inquiry about oneself. Inquiring oneself when you discover your true nature. What is the actual vision? the vision. So the most wonderful part about Bhagavan's teaching is you need not believe in anything else. If you don't have faith in God, you need not have faith in God. If you don't believe in all these philosophies, scriptures, you need not have faith in scriptures, philosophies. Do you believe in yourself? Yes, I do believe in myself. Yes, I am there. Start from there. You are there now. Inquire, who am I? So when you conduct this inquiry, who am I, as revealed by Bhagavan, you will reach a point where you will discover yourself. And from there, you need not know anything else. Even you need not know about God. You need not worry about any of these scriptures. And you need not know anything about the world. Why? Knowing which, you know everything. What will you know? You will know that everything is one, the self, the truth. So this is the most beautiful thing about this philosophy. Knowing which, you need not know anything else. Experiencing which, you need not experience anything else. So this is the beauty, this is the highest. So we will go into the text. We will try to cover as much as possible. I would not say in these 3 days we are going to cover the whole of our mind. However we are able to, we will. See, I'm going to read out first and then going to explain to you. So you all must have this, please circulate around. And we have also sent the soft copies also. So you all received soft copies in your phones? Yeah, whosoever received soft copies, please go through that. And hard copies also are coming around. Here also is separate one or two. Here, an introduction is given by Bhagavan himself. Are you all able to follow my English? Okay. The accent. Okay. All living beings desire to be happy always, without any misery. In everyone, there is observed supreme love for oneself. And happiness alone is the cause of love. Bhagavan makes 3 statements here. The first one is all living beings desire to be happy always, without any misery. Is that not true? In Sanskrit, they say, dukkha nivritti sukha prapti, meaning nobody wants to be miserable. Is that not so? Everybody wants to be happy. Always. Always we want to be happy. Is that not so? All the beings, from the ant onwards, till the devas, or whosoever, everybody wants to be happy. So why do we study? Why do we earn? Why do we spend? Why do we marry? Why do we do this, do that? Everything in the pursuit of happiness only. Is that not so? Is that not so? So all of us all want to be happy. That is number one. And also the second statement, in everyone, there is observed supreme love for oneself. Is that not so? We may hate anybody else, but we cannot hate ourselves. Even if we hate, where will we run? Where will we go? We have to live with ourselves always now. That is the most tragic thing in life. We have to live with ourselves. But we all love ourselves. like a mother loving the child. She loves. Because she looks at the child as her own self. And we love ourselves the most. It is said in the Upanishads, Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. We love ourselves the most. You know why we love the others? Because they give us happiness. So we love. So actually, the fundamental truth is we all only love ourselves the most. Only for our happiness, for our joy, we do everything. Is that not so? So this is the second statement. Please follow it carefully. And happiness alone is the cause of love. Whatever gives us happiness, we love that. The same thing, if it starts giving us sorrow, we throw it away. Is it not so? A boy and a girl, they fall in love. Why? They feel the other person is the source of all happiness. Oh, she gives me so much of joy. They date, they live together for some time. And after some time, when the one person starts feeling the other person is not giving me any more happiness, giving me all sorrow, dukkha, misery, then we just drop that person. Is that not so? So we love everybody in this world only because we love ourselves. And whatever gives us happiness only we love. Therefore, it is concluded, this self should be the source of all happiness. Why? Because we love this self unconditionally. See, we love only what gives us happiness in the world. Is that not so? And we find we love ourselves the most. Then it means this self should be the source of all happiness. See? You get the point? See, generally all of us want only happiness. Number one. Why we love somebody? Because they give us happiness. And we find ourselves to be loving ourselves the most. Therefore, the self would be the source of all happiness. And alas, we do not know about it. We think the objects in the world gives us happiness. The beings, they give us happiness. But the truth is, the self is the source of all happiness. So here Bhagavan says, in order therefore to gain that happiness, which is one's nature and which is experienced in the state of deep sleep, where the mind is no mind, where there is no mind, one should know oneself. Since this self is the source of all happiness, and that is what we want in life, the happiness, we should know the self. And not only that, every day we experience this happiness in our deep sleep. When we are sleeping, very deep sleep, no objects there, nothing there. But still, when we get up, we say, I slept beautifully. And so happy about it. Why? In the deep sleep, even though there were no objects, we enjoyed happiness. How? Because we were one with the self, very close to the self. Therefore, it is very evident that there is joy, there is happiness, in spite of not having anything. So, the self is a source of all happiness. See, that is why these great rishis and munis, even though they don't have any wealth, even though they are not married or they are not indulging in any enjoyments, but still they are blissful. How come they are blissful always? They have found the real source somewhere else. And that source is the self. In Sanskrit, it calls Atma, Atman, Atma, the self, the self. So without knowing the self, if we run about, we run after the worldly objects, and we may search happiness, but still we may not find that infinite, all-fulfilling happiness. We may find some happiness, some pleasure, it is called, here and there, but always it is mixed with a lot of sorrows only. But here, there is pure, unadulterated bliss. That's what these great rishis, these great masters have found. Independent of everything. They have found this in their own heart. Even now, the self is the source of all happiness. But we are unable to know it, or we are unable to enjoy it, experience it. Why? Because we do not know how to plug in. Like Swami Chinmayanji, he says, the electricity is everywhere. But if you do not know how to plug in to the source of the electricity, no use. So you may have the mobile phone and there is electricity. But if you don't find a proper charger, so we always encounter this when we come from India to Australia. Here the pins are crooked, like this. I don't know why it is so crooked. And we have round pins. In the airports and all, electricity is there, mobile is there, but no charging. So nowadays we are very wise. We buy Australian like this thing, charger, and we bring here. So when you plug in, immediately everything. So when we know how to plug in to the source, that is what we are going to learn. How to plug in, how to discover the self, and how to abide in that self. See, recently, we had this great Kumbh Mela. You have heard about it in India, in Uttar Pradesh, in Prayagraj. Kumbh Mela. Can you imagine? Within 1.5 2 months, 60 crores of people. You can't even imagine how much it is. Why? And so many great saints, sages, so many people. Why they assemble there? Because beyond this worldly existence, there is something else. And everybody is searching for something which is, Shashwatam. Shashwatam means what? Which is there always, and which is the source of all happiness. Everybody is searching only for that, in their own ways. Alas, it is our own self. We need not run anywhere, search anywhere outside. And it is our own self. And, Paramatma, the Lord, is so clever. He has made the world very beautiful, and he has created the sense facing outward, and he has gone inside and sitting inside. We can't even imagine that he's sitting inside. We go on searching everywhere. Where is he? Where is he? This is a hide and seek game he's playing. Kannamuchin Tamil solluvaanga. So he's inside and we are searching everywhere. So how to turn within? How to look within? How to dive within? How to remain one with him? How to enjoy the bliss? So this is the inquiry. So, in order, therefore, to gain that happiness, which is one's nature, and which is experienced a state of deep sleep, where there is no mind, one should know oneself. So, in the deep sleep, there is no mind. When there is no mind, there is happiness. In waking and dream, there is mind, so there is so much of confusion. When we can achieve a state of no mind, even while awake, that is called as samadhi. That is called as the self-abidance. Even in the waking state, when we can still the mind and when we can experience without any mind, how can we experience without mind? Is it possible? It is possible. பாராது பார்க்கும் பாக்கியத்தை பாலித்த சீரான ஞான சிவகுருவே அடைக்கலம். In Jaffna in Sri Lanka, there was a great saint called as Yoga Swami. He's a Siddha Purusha. He says, பாராது பார்க்கும் பாக்கியத்தை பாலித்த சீரான ஞான சிவகுருவே அடைக்கலம். Meaning, பாராது பார்க்கும் பாக்கியம். Meaning, you have to see the world without seeing. What is this, Swamiji? How can you see the world without seeing? Yeah, that is the trick. You are seeing the world, but you are not seeing. How? We will see. We will see how. So, when there is no mind, there is peace. When there is no mind, there is bliss. When there is no mind, there is nothing other than the self. When we are in the deep sleep, there is no mind, there is so much of peace, so much of bliss, actually speaking. And there is nothing other than the self. But when we are awake, there comes the otherness, the sense of otherness. There comes so much of worries, agitations, sorrows. And there comes so much of, what to say, inauspicious feelings in the heart. So, how to achieve this no mind state? Never mind. So, this is what is the inquiry all about. I tell you, it is very fascinating. This inquiry is very fascinating. See, I tell you, we have studied scriptures in the ashram. We have studied Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and Adi Shankara, so many texts. But when you come to Bhagavan, Sri Ramana Maharshi, I tell you, there is so much of relief and so much of clarity. Thank God, I need not break my head with anything else. Enough is enough. Because it's so clear and so straight. See, only when you go through all these Upanishads and all these things, you will understand how much, my God, it's breaking your head. So much of logic and reasoning, so much of tattva vichara, this, that. But when you come to Bhagavan, so simple and straight. And everything is done. So beautiful it is. Even now, we don't have a mind. But, there's always a but. We feel there is a mind, and we feel that is the world, and we feel we are a personality. We feel we have to achieve something. We feel we have to prove something to somebody. We feel we have to get this, get that, enjoy. Actually speaking, now also we are that absolute self. We are Purnam, full. And even now also, there is no world outside. Even now also, there is no misery. There is no confusion. But, always this but comes. We don't feel that way. We don't experience that. Ashtavakra says, in Ashtavakra Gita, he says, you are that, and why can't you be that? Why do you want to meditate? Similarly, Bhagavan also asks, irundabadike iren. Why can't you be yourself? Why do you want to do this and do that? Hey, manasa punnakikra அப்படினு கேட்பார். Meaning, even now we are that, and we are blissful, and we have nothing to achieve, nothing to prove. But alas, we are not convinced. We feel, no. Manushna Paranadhika Sadhikatana. We have to do something, we have to achieve something. We have to leave our legacy behind. When I was young, we were studying in our school a poem called Ozymandias. Have you heard about that? Ozymandias, meaning a traveler who was walking through the desert. There he finds a statue without head, a statue. It is written there. He is the king of kings, blah, 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 blah. He has achieved so much. He has conquered, blah, blah, blah. And now he is standing in the middle of the desert without a head. Meaning what? Moon swallows everything. We feel we have achieved this, we have achieved that, do this, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. Meaning, now we are that absolute self. We do not know. And we unnecessarily trouble ourselves. And we suffer in this world for no reason. There is nothing to suffer. This is what is the crux of the story. Okay, we shall move now. To achieve this, the path of knowledge, the inquiry in the form of who am I, is the principal means. So this is the introduction given by Bhagavan for this book. And now we are moving into the actual text. First question asked by Shiva Prakasam Pillai. Who am I? Is the first question. Bhagavan says, the gross body, which is composed of 7 dhatus. Here it is humors. I don't know what is humor. I am not. The dhatus means the fundamental tissues or whatever. It's a building block of this human body, actually. They say the skin, no? The plasma, the skin, they say. And then blood. And then muscle, flesh, and fat, bone marrows, and all those stuff, the vital fluid. All these are sapta dhatus. Dhatus means the basic building block of this human body. They're called as 7 dhatus, sapta dhatus. So the body is made of these 7 dhatus. So here he says, I am not that. Because mostly we feel, I am this body. But he says, I am not that. The 5 cognitive sense organs, the sense of hearing, touch, sight, taste, and smell, which apprehend their respective objects, sound, touch, color, taste, and odor, I am not. So the second step, am I the sense organs, which is perceiving things? Here he says, I am not the sense organ. I am not the sense organs. Because even without the sense organ, I can live. Is that not so? If I am blind, will I die? No. Even without the sense organs, I am able to live. See, there is a beautiful book called Drisha Viveka. You have to go through that to understand this in detail, actually. I'm not going to go through in detail. But there it is very clearly said. If my eyes are not clear, I know it. I am not able to see properly. So somebody is there behind who is knowing that the eyes are not, functioning properly. So I am not the eye. I am somebody behind the eye who is knowing the state of the eye, the condition of the eye. So therefore, I am not the sense organs or not the sense objects. See, we don't have that doubt now. I am not this mic. Thank God, I am not this mic because it is blah. It's coming down all this. Voda under the mic. Thank God I am. So I am not the vital airs, pranas. See, we have got this pranas, no? What they call vital air. Pranayama is very popular, no? Controlling the breath or the pranas. He says, I am not the pranas, the 5 pancha pranas. Why? In the deep sleep, we are not aware of the pranas. Is it not so? See, in the deep sleep, pranas may go and come, but we are not aware of it. See, please understand, pancha pranas, even though they are functioning, but in the deep sleep, we are not aware of our body or the pranas or the mind or anything. But still we are existing. Is it not so? Please think about it. So I am not this pancha pranas. I am not even the mind which thinks. Why? Because in the deep sleep there is no mind, but still I am. Nobody gets up and say, I was not. I don't know. Something happened. I was not. No, everybody says, I slept well. Meaning what? I slept well. Meaning I was there. Is it not so? It is our day-to-day experience. We say, I slept well. So even without the mind, we were there in the deep sleep. So he says, I am not the mind which thinks. The nescience means ignorance, which is endowed only with the residual impressions of objects. That is the vasanas, they say, impressions of the objects, and which there are no objects and no function. I am not. So here, first of all, he is saying what I am not. Before the inquiry of who am I, he is now saying what I am not. So he is discarding na iti, na iti. I am not this body. I am not the pancha pranas. I am not the sense organs, pancha pranas. I am not the mind. See, we know only all these layers of our personality. We know ourselves as this body, or we know ourselves as the mind. When you negate everything, then certain Buddhistic philosophies, they say shunya, nothing. But our Vedanta Shastra says, can you negate yourself? Can you ever feel that I am not? You cannot. So therefore, it is a very, very subtle inquiry. Because we are trying to dive deeper and deeper into our own personality. See, it is not a superficial thing actually. It's a very subtle and very deep inquiry. That is why we need the single pointed attention. And also undistracted mind. That is why it becomes difficult. Otherwise, it is not that difficult. Two things. We need a single pointed mind. Which is sharp, penetrating, and not distracted. Meaning less of tamas and rajas, more of sattva, they say. So that is why this inquiry becomes difficult. So now, I am not all this. I am not even avidya, the ignorance. Because in the bright sun, can there be darkness? There cannot be any darkness in the sun. Similarly, I am of the nature of pure knowledge. How can there be ignorance? So actually speaking, ignorance also is not my nature. So here he is negating everything. Then the next question is very significant. If I am none of this, then who am I? Then Bhagavan replies, after negating all of the above mentioned as not this, that awareness which alone remains, that I am. So when you negate everything, there is something which can never be negated. What is that? That awareness, I am the awareness. So he says that awareness is my true self. See, now we are aware of something or other. I am aware of this mic. I am aware of this laptop. I am aware of the people. I am aware of. But if you remove all the objects, then what happens? Everything goes. No, the awareness remains. In Panchadashi, there is one chapter called as Nataka Deepa Prakarana. There, the author, he says, there is a stage where there is a light focused on the stage, where a drama is happening, let us say. So the light is illuminating all the scenes of the drama. The first scene is full of, joy, humor, everything. The second scene is tragic. The third scene, people dance, all those stuff. Everything it is illuminating. But when the drama is over and everybody is gone, the stage is empty. But still, when the light is on, it is illuminating the empty stage. So the light was illuminating the presence of objects first, and then the light is illuminating even the absence of objects. So the light is of the nature of illumination. It illuminates the presence and the absence. So in the waking state and the dream state, the awareness is illuminating the objects which are in the deep sleep. When there is nothing, still the awareness is illuminating the absence. So the awareness is the true self, is my own true self. Now I do not know what is this awareness. I am only always aware of something or other. Now, for time being, stop being aware of something or other, just be. See, this is the technique. Always we are aware of something or other. In our waking and dream, always we are aware of something or other. Now stop, pause. Now do not become aware of anything. Just be. Meaning what? When all the objects subside, the awareness remains. That is you. Tat Tvamasi. See how simple it is. Actually, it is so simple, no? See, we are aware of something or other. Always, from the time we are born till we go to the graveyard, we are always aware of this, that. And now, with the advent of the internet, this, that, information overload. You go on knowing about everything in the world, other worlds, this, that. Hey, konjam அமைதியா pass. We do not know how to, because we have never tried. And when we try, we go to sleep. That is what we have learned. Either we go to sleep or we are aware of so many things. We are not just awake and just aware. That's all. So when you reject everything, all the experiences, and if you can remind, that is all. And you know what? That is out of the world. That is the bliss. And that is everything. God, that is everything. Summa iru. That is the final Upadesha. Summa iru means what? Just be. See, for that, whatever comes, let it come. Whatever goes, let it go. Do not bother about anything. Udasinavat asinaha. Meaning just remain Watch and observe. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever comes, comes. Whatever goes, goes. Just remind. After some time, nothing will come, nothing will go, and you remind. That is all. That is all. See, this is not a rocket science, actually. Rocket science is very complicated, very difficult. Imagine you have to place a rocket, a satellite in an orbit, which is how many thousands kilometers away? My God. And different sort of weather condition, things, that, so many things. So many unknowables you have to factor in. But here is so simple, it's your own self. And now and here it is there, your own self. And what you need to do? Nothing. This is the beauty of this Atma Vichara is, nothing needs to be done here. Let everything pass. Everything subside. What remains? In the Hindus, in one sect of Hindus, they apply ashes on their forehead. Have you seen? Ashes. They say vibhuti. What is ash? After you burn everything, whatever remains is called as ash. So when everything is gone, everything is burnt, whatever remains, that is the self. So to indicate that only, they put ash on their forehead. After everything is burnt, whatever remains is ash. Like that, all the experiences, when they subside, whatever remains is the pure self, is the awareness. So what we need to do, as Shirdi Sai Bhagavan says, Shraddha and Saburi. Have faith and then be patient. What is the patience? Just remind. Let everything come, let everything go. Just remind. Watching everything, observing everything, not to get disturbed by anything. Let everything come and go. See, this is where you need so much of detachment, dispassion. So the key to self-inquiry is not intelligence, it's dispassion, detachment. That is why it is very difficult. If the key to self-inquiry is intelligence, so many people have realized the self. Because there are so many intelligent people in the world, is that not so? But why they are stupid? Because they have intelligence, but they don't have detachment. Our rishis were very great because they were totally detached. Vairagyameva bhayam. So what is detachment? When you can remain without getting identified with anything, whatever comes, comes, whatever goes, goes. I just remain as my own self, illuminating everything, not getting identifying with anything, not getting disturbed by anything, just be. For this, you need so much of maturity, so much of depth in you. Because what we know only to indulge or to resist or to jump like this, like a monkey. We have not learned to keep quiet. Our Acharya ji, Swami Anubhavan ji is my Acharya. You know about him, I suppose. He says, Deko suno mat bolo. Deko means watch, see. Suno means hear. Mat bolo. Don't utter a word. Can we live like that in this world? You see everything, hear everything, don't comment. Don't utter a word. I mean, don't comment on anything. Then you become a jnani. But we can't remain without commenting. We have to comment. Oh, this is good. Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is silly. We go on reacting with everything. So, my dear, it is not intelligence. It is detachment. பற்று பொருளற்றார் பரந்த மனம் உற்றுவிடும் சாந்தி தானாகவே ஓய்ந்து. Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi in Devika Lotram, he says, Patru Porul Atral, meaning when the mind is detached from everything, Paranda Manamu Mutru Vidum Shanti, the mind will subside on its own without any effort. Thanagave oindu, just disappear. But we never allow the mind to disappear. Except in the sleep, where we have no control of anything, we also go along with the mind. But in the waking, if we can just allow the mind to subside, it will subside. We will not allow. Because of our raga dvesha, because of our likes and dislikes, because we have to comment about everything, we have to know about everything. So when all the experiences are gone, there is something which is beyond all the experience, where there is no seer or seen, but there is only seeing. That is what it is said as Brahman, or the self, or the awareness. Howsoever you may name it, it is one. So that is what he says, your true self. So it is not gaining something, it is losing everything. Losing everything means what? Not to hold on to anything. That is why it is said, Tyage Neike Amrutatvamanashuku. See, today some 20, 30 people have come, let us say. When I insist on detachment, Tyage Neike Amrutatvamanashuku, tomorrow nobody will come. Only few may come. It's very difficult for us to even digest and appreciate. Giving up is very scary for us. We want to hold on to everything. You're so scared. We go to God and what we pray, oh God, keep everything safe, secure, in order. We want to be, in our own comfort zone, everything to remain the same. No! Everything will go. With the death, everything will go. So, what is the death of the ego? You have to give up everything. Everything means what? Not to bother about anything. Is jnanam. Tannai vidadiruttal jnanam. Anniyattai nadadiruttal vairagyam. Not to seek anything is vairagyam, is dispassion, detachment. So if you don't seek anything, not even God, not anything, then you are there. But alas, we do not know the secret. We either seek the world, or we seek the self, or we seek the God. There you are gone. Whenever you start seeking, the seeker is born. When the seeker is born, everything is gone. The seeker is the ego self. When he is born, everything is gone. Stop seeking the world, stop seeking the God, even stop seeking the self. Because you are the self. How can you seek the self? If self is something else, you can seek. You are the self. So therefore, the secret is never ever allow the seeker to be born. That is Ashtavakra. See, recently we are studying Ashtavakra and I'm so thrilled. You know what? Ashtavakra, my God. The problem is the seeker is born, therefore there is seeking, therefore there is trouble, therefore there is all this samsara. So therefore, after negating all the above mentioned as not this, that awareness which alone remains that I am. Okay, now moving on. What is the nature of awareness? See how beautiful the questions are also very, very pointed. See, what is the nature of awareness? The nature of awareness is existence, consciousness, bliss. In Sanskrit, it is called as Sat Chit Ananda. Existence means what? I am. I exist is our nature. And consciousness, not only I exist, I know I exist. I am aware of my existence. Suppose if I'm not aware of my existence, how can you say I am existing also? See? Think about it. Therefore, existence and awareness are not two different things actually. They are one only. And that is bliss means what? Infinite. There are no constraints, nothing to condition you. So it is bliss means infinite. So there is nothing to restrict you, limit you. It is limitless. What is bliss? Bliss is not an emotion. Bliss is not an emotion. It is infinite. It is limitless, shoreless existence. That is bliss. Imagine a shoreless ocean. Adi andamillada sodi. Adi andam is without beginning or end. This you cannot even imagine. Mind can only imagine a limited object, a limited things. Unlimited. So therefore, that is the awareness. So that existence, which is not dependent on anything, not the body or mind or anything for that matter. Even God cannot kill you. Even God, if there is a God, cannot kill you because you are not. How can somebody destroy something which is not? Kill you means your ego self, I mean. Your ego self. Ego self is not. Therefore, he cannot kill the ego self. And the true self is there where there is nothing else other than it. Then who will kill? Who is to be killed? It is infinite. See, even God is an idea of the mind. If there is no mind in the deep sleep, there is no God. Very difficult, this idea to digest. We become very uncomfortable. And sometimes we resist so much and repel. But you know what? Only when the experience is born, the experience is available. Even God at this moment for us is an object experienced means only with the experiencer he is born. So therefore, this self is limitless, endless, and it is bliss. If something else is there to limit it, it cannot be infinite, it cannot be imperishable. So this is Satchidananda. So I'm not talking anything out of my head, please. I'm telling you whatever Bhagavan is telling one, and whatever great masters like Ashtavakra or Mandukya, Gaudapada, whatever they are saying, only I'm telling you. It is nothing from my head, please. But all these things have been contemplated by this person, and then we are very, very convinced about so many things. That's what we are sharing. So this awareness is the most wonderful thing. Shoreless, endless. Thank God there is nothing other than the self. See, if there is a God, there is fear always. Oh, he will punish me. Oh, he will do this to me, do this to me. Thank God, there is nothing there. Except that oceanless, that shoreless ocean of bliss, there is nothing. Nothing whatsoever. No Maya, no ignorance. Jnaneshwar Maharaj in Amritanubhava, he condemns Maya, he condemns ignorance. He says, what nonsense is this? So there is that bliss which is infinite. When you come to Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi, you should be very strong in your hearts. Like, in certain videos, they say, no, some disclaimer, the faint-hearted people should not watch this video. So for the faint-hearted, this inquiry is not. You do some other thing. It is all good for you. Everybody can do anything they want now. But if you are interested in self-inquiry, Bhagavan, then you should be very strong in your heart. Take all this bombarding, bombarding only. But Swamiji, Bhagavan has sung so much about Arunachala. Arunachala Stuti Panchakam he has sung. What do you mean? He has sung. When we take Arunachala Pancharattam, we will say there is no self, only Arunachala. What I mean to say is, It is also true only. Purnamada, Purnamidam only. But if you are inquiring, there is no room for sentimentalism or no room for emotions. You have to be very scientific minded, precise. Then only you can inquire. Understand? And I tell you, this is liberating. I tell you, this is liberating. And there is confusion about God, confusion about the world, confusion about the personality, creation, destruction. It is binding. This self is liberating, I tell you. The idea about everything else is confusing, binding. But this idea or this self is liberating because there is nothing in it other than. Please understand. Don't get attached to your pet ideas, pet concepts. It is liberating. Thank God there is nothing. Otherwise, these people blackmail us with so many things, I tell you. All blackmail only. Oh, don't do this, don't do that. கடவுள் கண்ணை குத்திடுவார், அது செஞ்சிடுவார், இது செஞ்சிடுவார். You have to do this, you have to do that. Morning, you have to get up and do this, japa, dhyana, this, that, that. You have to study this, you have to study that, blah, blah, blah. You are yourself. Be free. And don't get bound by any of these ideas, any of these thoughts, any of these concepts. All these are binding only. Nonsense. Even this idea is to be dropped because Pinam Sudu Tadi Pole, Bhagavan says. Pinam Sudu Tadi means, you know what? In the funeral, when you burn the body, in Hindus, they burn the body. That fellow uses a stick to burn the body. And later he throws the stick also in the fire. He will not carry it as a souvenir. With this stick I have burned. No, he will throw that. Like that, everything is thrown into that fire. Even this idea of self-inquiry, everything is thrown into the fire of the self. Everything is burnt. Thank God, nothing remains. If something remains, always it's a matter of botheration. Thank God, nothing remains. Totally you are liberated. I tell you, whatever is there other than the self, it is binding. There is fear. Whenever there is two, there is fear. So therefore, this awareness is the nature of bliss. Means, you know what? There is nothing other than that. Therefore, there is bliss. There is no fear. There is no confusion. There is nothing. Adi andam illadana or beginningless, endless. Suppose if there is self and there is some other God, what will happen, you know? Both will die. Swamiji, self means it is infinite, let us say. If God comes inside, the self is limited by the God and the God is limited by the self. Both will perish. Do you want both to perish or at least one to survive? No, I want God to survive. I will perish. If you perish, then you are God. If God perish, you are awareness. Both are one only. But the thing is, you want to have both intact, then there is problem. I want to also remain with the God who will protect me, help me. Sorry. Either one of you should go. I would prefer, instead of any concept or idea, I would prefer the awareness which is beyond. Okay. Now, when will the realization of the self be gained? You are talking about self as awareness now. Please tell me what is the time I am going on. I have no watch also.
8:20.
Huh?
8:20.
8:20.
Yeah.
Till what time?
8:30. So you said 15 minutes question.
Yeah. We will cover this and tomorrow we will have it. I am talking, I am going somewhere also. When will the realization of the self be gained? When the world, which is what is seen, has been removed, there will be realization of the self, which is the seer. These are all, I don't know how to even talk about this. What Bhagavan says, when will you gain the self? or the self-knowledge? When will you gain? He says, when the world is removed, meaning when all the experiences go, then you gain the self. World means what? It is nothing but series of experiences only. Other than the experiences, what is the world? Tell me. What he says, see, Tamil I'm very, very fond of this original. Not for anything, because there is so much of beauty in that. I want to read out Tamil ஒரே ஒரு நிமிஷம். See, என்ன சொல்றாருன்னா, சொரூப தரிசனம் எப்போது கிடைக்கும்? திருஷ்யமாகிய ஜகம் நீங்கிய இடத்தில் திருக்காகிய சொரூப தரிசனம் உண்டாகும். Meaning what he says? The scene, whatever we are seeing, the seen world, when it is gone, when it is removed, then the seer is realized as the true self, the pure awareness. The next question, will there not be realization of the self even while the world is there? There will not be, is the answer. The next question is, when the world is intact, when I am seeing the world, will I not be able to realize the self? He says no. மரத்தை மறைத்தது மாமதையானை மரத்தில் மறைந்தது பாமாமதையான் பரத்தை மறைத்தது பார்முதல் பூதம் பரத்தில் மறைந்தது பார். When you are seeing the world, it means the experiencer, the experienced is there. So it is broken into two, experiencer, experienced. What is self? Which is one without the second, which is not broken into anything. The self is one which is not broken into anything. When you see the world, it means what? There is an experiencer, experienced. It is broken. The consciousness is broken into the seer and the seen. So whenever you see the world, it is divided into seer and seen. But what is the self? Which is not divided into anything, which is not broken into anything. So as long as you see the world, when there is a division between the experiencer and the experienced, it is not self-knowledge. When everything goes, the experienced goes, the experiencer goes, whatever remains is awareness, the self. So therefore, when you are seeing the world, there is no self-knowledge, or there is no self, or there is no abidance in the self. When you are abiding the self, you cannot see any world. If you see the world and still claim that I am abiding the world, I am abiding the self, it is not the right statement. It is not the right thing, actually. So here what he says, when the world which is what is seen has been removed, there will be realization of the self which is the seer. Then the question is asked, will there not be realization of the self even while the wild is there or taken as real? He says there will not be. Meaning, there will not be self-realization when you are seeing a world other than yourself. See, this is a very important idea you have to grasp. What is world? Whenever the consciousness is broken into seer and seen, is called as the world. What is the self? Self is one where there is no division of seer and seen. So you cannot have the seer and seen, and also you cannot have that unbroken, undivided self. You understand? So therefore he says very clearly, Jagat Drishti Ninginale Oliya Atma Darisanam Undahadu. Very clear, he says. He சொல்றார், கற்பித அடுத்த பதில்ல சொல்றார், கற்பிதமான ஜகத் திருஷ்டி நீங்கினாலே ஒழிய அதிஷ்டான சொரூப தரிசனம் உண்டாகாது. Only when the world is gone, the experience and the experiencer is gone, then there is the self-realization. Keeping the experiencer and experienced intact, you cannot have self-realization. So either the seer should go or the seen should go. Because without the seer, seen cannot survive or it cannot thrive. Or when all the seen is removed, there is no role for the seer. So therefore, only when the seen and the seer are gone, then there is a self. In the self-realization, there is no seer or seen. Swamiji, how can you remove this world? Huh? The world is so huge. How can one remove this world? In your deep sleep, there is no world. No, Swamiji. Others are watching it. Others are seeing it. No, the others are part of your waking mind. When you get up, then you are told that there were others watching the world. It is not your experience in the deep sleep. It is the information passed on to you in your waking state that there were others who are watching the world. It is not your experience in the deep sleep. It is the information passed on by the waking mind to you, which you should not believe. It is part of the mind. It is part of the mind. This information also is part of the mind. So therefore, in deep sleep, there was no experiencer, no experienced. So it is possible. In waking also, if there is no experiencer, no experienced, there is self-realization. Can you bring the deep sleep into the waking? Then you are a jnani. Meaning, Jagrat Sushupti. How clear, Bhagavan's philosophy is so crystal clear. As long as there is a division between the seer and the seen, the undivided self is not realized. When you are abiding in the undivided self, there is no bheda between the seer and the seen. By seeing, by having the bhedam, the differences between the seer and the seen, you cannot apprehend the self which is beyond the differences. This is so straightforward, so simple. So therefore, what is the question? What is the nature of awareness? Also, when will the realization of self be gained? When the world, which is what is seen, has been removed, there will be realization of self, which is a seer. Will there not be realization of the self even while the world is there? He says, there will not be. There will not be the realization, self-realization, when you still see the world. But Swamiji's, these great masters, even though they are realized, they are seeing a world. How is it possible? Don't ask about jnanis. You go and see. But the truth is, here, when you are seeing a world, the self is not apprehended. When the self is apprehended, the world is not seen. Like how in the next, in the next he is giving a beautiful sort of an idea. He is asking why? Why so? Why when the world is apprehended, the self is not? For that he says, the seer and the object seen are like the rope and the snake. Just as the knowledge of the rope, which is a substratum, will not arise unless the false knowledge of the illusory serpent goes. So the realization of the self, which is substratum, will not be gained unless the belief that the world is real is removed. இங்கே கூட இந்த டிஎம்பி மகாதேவன் கொஞ்சம் ரியல் கியல்லாம் போட்டு கொஞ்சம் அடிச்சிருக்காரு. பட் பகவான் அப்படி சொல்லல. பகவான் இன்னும் ஸ்ட்ரெயிட்டா சொல்றாரு. பகவான் என்ன சொல்றாருன்னா, திருக்கும் திருசியமும் ரஜ்ஜுவும் சர்ப்பமும் போன்றவை. கற்பித சர்ப்பஜானம் போனாலே ஒழிய அதிஷ்டான ரஜ்ஜு ஞானம் உண்டாகாதது போல கற்பிதமான ஜெகதிருஷ்டி நீங்கினாலே ஒழிய அதிஷ்டான சொரூப தரிசனம் உண்டாகாது. Meaning what he says, see, he gives an example of a person seeing a snake. See, when he is walking, he saw a snake. Snake, he says. And then on further inquiry, he discovers that it's not a snake. It's just a rope lying innocently on the path. So here his argument is, as long as you are seeing the snake, you will not realize that it is a rope. Once when you realize that it's just an innocent rope, you will not be scared that it's a snake. Is that not so? So here is equating this vision of the snake to the vision of the world. So as long as the vision of the snake remains, you will not able to understand that it is just an innocent rope. But if you realize that it is an innocent rope, you can never have the idea that it is a snake. Similarly, as long as you see the world, there cannot be the self-abidance or self-realization. When you have the self-realization, you can no more have the idea that the world is there, different from me, or something else. So therefore, at the same time, you cannot have the vision of the world, which is split into seer and seen, divided into seer and seen, and also the self, which is not broken into anything. It is contradictory. So either you can have the experience of the seer and seen, or you can have the experience of the self. You cannot have the both one at the same time. If you are avoiding the self, still you may see the world, but not as other than yourself. You will see it as your own self. This is what is the idea. You will not see it as something else. You will see it as your own self. So therefore, to summarize whatever we studied today, why we should practice self-inquiry? Because the self is the source of all bliss. How do you say that? Because we love only what gives us happiness. And we love ourselves the most. Therefore, this self should be of the nature of bliss. Okay, so who am I? What is the nature of the self? I am not this body, the senses, mind, etc., etc. Then who am I actually? When you negate everything, whatever remains as awareness is the self. Or in other words, the pure existence, knowledge, and the bliss is your true self. So, as long as you are seeing the world with the eyes of the seer and the seen, then the self-realization is not gained. Only when the idea of the bheda between the seer and the seen is gone, then the self-knowledge is gained. Can't both exist together? No, it cannot exist together. Either you are in the self or you are in the samsara, the seer and the seen duality. At the same time, you cannot be in the seer and the seen duality and also in the non-dual self. So therefore, what to be done? Either do away with all the seen or do away with the seer. To do away with the seer is easier than doing away with the seen. Why? Scenes are so many. How can you remove all the seen? How can you remove? Instead, if you find out whether there is a seer, is he true? When you discover that there is no seer, seer is a myth. Seer is a false entity. He is a myth, actually. See, we say in a mythology, these stories of Rama, Krishna, hey, it's all mythology. We say, no, Hare Rama, you are the myth. You are not there. That's what Bhagavan is saying. You think I am there, but all these gods are mythology. Hare, you are the biggest myth, biggest bluff. You are the biggest bluff. So when you discover that this self, the seer himself is the biggest bluff. He was never ever there. He was never ever born. It is not that he was born. He was never ever born. When you discover this, then the idea of seer and seen is gone once and for all. Because without the seer, there is no seen. We are going to see tomorrow, all those things. So when the seer is discovered to be a bluff, to be a myth, to be not, then with that goes all the seen. S-E-E-N, seen means all that which you see. And there you are the self, pure self. But as long as this ego self, the seer is asserting himself, there is no escape from the seen. And as long as the seer and seen are going to exist, there is no bliss, there is no peace, there is no self-realization. So, either you have an option now, do away with the seer or do away with the seen. But we think doing away with the seer is difficult, so we will do away with the seen. No. Doing away with the seen is difficult. Because seen is nothing but the projection of the seer. Seen is nothing but the extension of the seer. Actually speaking, seer himself is imagining the scene. So with the seer intact, you cannot destroy or remove the scene. So the seer has to be questioned and he has to be destroyed or nullified. When you discover that, oh my God, the seer was a myth. He was never ever born. See, this is the realization. It is not that seer was born and then with sadhana, with self-inquiry, the seer is dead and gone. No, that is not the realization. The discovery that seer was never ever born. He was a myth. He was like a ghost. Never ever born. This is realization. See, I am talking with the authority of Ashtavakra Gita. Ashtavakra and Gaudapada. I am very clear in my mind. This seer is never ever born. You know what I am saying? I am not born. Swamiji, mulu poosanikai ukkandrikkinga your chair. And you are talking about all nonsense. And you say, I am never ever born. But this is the truth. The seer is never ever born. Why? He can never be born. Why? Because the self will not allow anything else except other than it. See, Gaudapada says, it is not that the world is an illusion. There cannot be any reason for the world to have been born, he says. There is never a reason for the world to be born. It is Ajatavada. So Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi talks about Ajata. So therefore, now, whatever may be the philosophy, the practical thing is what we are suffering. I am there, the world is there, world is so much on my head, and I am really suffering. Then what? Okay, don't cry. Now, at least we will see what is this inquiry and try to find out who is suffering. Is the sufferer true? Forget about suffering is true. Is the sufferer true? Is the sufferer reality? If you find out that sufferer himself is a myth, then what is the question of suffering? So there we'll stop. Tomorrow we will continue, and day after also. And definitely we will have some time for question and answer. Okay. Om Namadha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Dachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namah.